Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How's going? Can you hear me? Is the volume okay? So I will be here in 2 minutes. Yeah, I will be here in 2-3 minutes. So no need to worry. I will be here. Yep. That's great. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, I still have a few final things to set up, so good evening, everyone. And my emoji, my new emoji. Thank you for Cookie-san. The new emoji has been set up for a while, so no need to worry, it's coming. Yep. So you can use my new emoji. Yep. So have a try. They're very cute. Thank you for Cookie-san. Cookie Sensei, the new emoji is great. I love them. Yep. Okay, so I'm about to get up. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yep. I'm coming. So, I've done my breakfast. I'm about to get up. And here, I'm ready to share you my new information about the Crunchyroll Expo of this year. Okay, so there's a new dynamic emoji on screen is also from Cookie-san. Thank you very much, and I do appreciate it. It's a very cute emoji, and just like no, it's not that difficult for me to get up, but okay, it's time. So kiss, choo choo, mua mua. And I'm coming. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So today is for my Crunchyroll Expo 2022. So I'm going to share my photos as well as what I learned from the. So that's what I learned from my new what I learned from these lectures, sessions, premieres, and all these special events during Crunchyroll Expo. So just let you have a look at where it is. So this year's Crunchyroll Expo is in San Jose. So Crunchyroll is mostly a Bay Area-based company. You can expect it something like Bilibili. So it's more like the earlier version of Bilibili. It's not a very well-rounded multimedia. It's not like a very multimedia platform. It's a platform focused on anime and manga. So something like Bilibili when Bilibili was named Mikufans. So any of you, that question, any of you who have been using Bilibili when it was still called Mikufans? Any of you? So Professor was one of them. So I think this account from Professor, it's created on 2012, and Professor actually started using Bilibili way earlier than that. I think sometime around 2010 or so. So Phase Zero, right? 2011, when it was 2011. So Phase Zero is the first simulcast anime from within Japan and China. So Professor started using Bilibili back then. I think actually earlier than that, when AC Phone and Mikufans were still competing for users. So Crunchyroll is more like an earlier version of Crunchyroll is more like. Give me one second. So Crunchyroll is more like a fully combined platform of English and Spanish dubbed anime, manga, and sometimes I think also anime albums. So yes, every year there will be a Crunchyroll event, so named Crunchyroll Expo, usually in Bay Area, likely San Francisco or San Jose. Both of them are at the end. San Francisco is at the north end of Bay Area, and San Jose is at the east end. It's the south end of Bay Area. Yep. So no, I don't think the XM reader allows for transparency background. And even if transparency background, it would be black in my template, so it doesn't work. So in US, it's most likely. So Crunchyroll is a dominant platform. Then we have High Dive. High Dive is a platform controlled by. It's a platform controlled by whom? By Sentai Filmworks. Sentai Filmworks is a branch of AMC network. So you may know that AMC is actually one of the three biggest theater networks in US, and it's actually controlled by the Chinese company. You know the name Wanda, right? So High Dive is the second largest, and Crunchyroll is the largest. So these two, there used to be another platform called Funimation, which is a major competitor of Crunchyroll, but it's Funimation is a branch of Sony. But in 2020, Sony acquired Crunchyroll from Times Warner. So now Sony combined Crunchyroll with Funimation. Now we only have Crunchyroll. Now there are some heritage resources still with the logo of Funimation. Those are all before 2020. But now there is only Crunchyroll. So can you imagine? Give me 1 second. Can you imagine back to 2020? Crunchyroll is now the largest anime streaming service in US, actually in the whole English and Spanish speaking world. But can you imagine what's the price? For what price Sony acquired Crunchyroll from Time Warner? Can you imagine? In 2020, Sony acquired Crunchyroll, the biggest anime and manga online streaming service of the whole English and Spanish speaking world, for $1 billion. Just $1 billion from Times Warner. Can you imagine? That's just crazy. It's cheap, right? It's not even cheap. It's just like nothing. Okay, so what's the background stuff? Okay, sure. So yeah, it's just some stories I want to share about all these background, the stories of Crunchyroll, Funimation, Sony, Times Warner, and High Dive, Sentai, AMC. So who are behind the anime industry of US? And for sure, other than Crunchyroll and Funimation and High Dive, we still have Netflix. So any of you in my channel who are a Netflix user, who is a Netflix user? None of you? None of you is using Netflix? Wow. I expect there will be a lot of Netflix users. So, Netflix actually also order a lot of Japanese animes from the industry. So, it's more like, but Netflix is very different. So Netflix, its titles is only available on Netflix. So Netflix is for sure, and there's another major competitor to Netflix named Hulu. Hulu has authorization control agreements with Sony, so Hulu has a lot of these old animation titles. So that's more like the American online streaming platform. It's not like. So if we date back, that's what I heard from the professor. If we date back to 2017, 2016, when we were looking at the animes online in China, there were a few competitors, right? So Bilibili was the dominator, but we still have AC Phone. AC Phone is still competing for anime streaming service with Bilibili nowadays, but there were Tencent Video, which has been already almost quit from the market, right? And AQY is almost out of there. So AQY actually have AQY or AQI. I'm not very familiar with that platform, but they purchased some of the very impressive titles like What Will You Do When Doomsday Comes. They have some good titles, but now they have quit the competition. Yep. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is for sure. Rick and Morty is a very different thing from these Japanese animations. So for sure, Rick and Morty is one of the best anime series of the world, but it's very different from Japanese animes. Just like these Batman movies, just like these. So right, Rick and Morty is not anything close. Yep. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. So it's more like the stories we are having. And after 2020, when Sony acquired Crunchyroll from Times Warner, at that time, I think the Warner Group is of cash shortage. They were selling a lot of their services to their competitors just to get cash back. It happens in US very frequently that one of these major businesses, they are in a short-term shortage of cash. They need cash to do something, maybe because they did something wrong in their investments, maybe because their board members just purchased back too much stocks from the market to increase their stock price. Maybe of all these silly things. They may face a shortage in cash, and when that happens, they will share some of their even their cash cow services to their competitors. So that's what happened in 2020. Times Warner sold Crunchyroll for 1 billion to Sony, and after that, Sony merged Crunchyroll and Funimation. So now the new merged Crunchyroll Funimation is a dominant in the US anime market. Then we have a minor competitor who is High Dive, way smaller than Crunchyroll, but still a competitor in the market. And we have Netflix. And Netflix is a competitor, but it's not something like anything like Crunchyroll, or it's not anything like Crunchyroll or High Dive. So now you see Crunchyroll is more like the dominant player of the anime market of US. So I will say most of these anime events, most of these anime conventions in US are somehow supported by Sony. And actually now, if you look, then Anime NYC is actually sponsored by Crunchyroll. Anime Frontier in Dallas, Texas is sponsored by Crunchyroll. Earlier, when it was July, I went to Anime Expo in Los Angeles. It's sponsored by Crunchyroll. And this time, today I'm going to share Crunchyroll Expo in San Jose with you. It's not even sponsored by Crunchyroll. It's owned by Crunchyroll. It's Crunchyroll's own anime convention. High Dive is also sponsoring some of these conventions, but not these major ones. So next April, Professor and I, we are thinking of going to Hawaii for the KawaiiCon. It's a major anime convention in Hawaii. That is sponsored by High Dive, but not any of these major ones, just these smaller ones. So you can see that's first day. I think last Friday, I first arrived at San Jose. It's in San Jose downtown, the San Jose Convention Center, next to Marriott. So you see the Marriott flag, right? So the convention center is just next to the Marriott of San Jose. Yep. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I need to get some water. And you see the flag of California Republic's beer after that. So it's next to the Marriott in the San Jose downtown. And you see back to that, there was a there was a park in the middle. So likely it's give me 1 second. Okay. So you see there, it's still almost 1 hour before the convention center opens. So on Friday, the opening time of the Crunchyroll Expo is 11 a.m. for general admission, and for those who purchased early tickets, they can enter in, I think, 10 a.m. Yes, and that's like something around 9:20. Still, a lot of people, they were still there. So, and hot event, but not something like Comic Cup in Shanghai or so. I've heard from the actually. Yep. In US, I would say yes. In US, the hottest is for sure. Jutsu is very hot. Chen Shouman is hot all over the world. So for sure. Oh, these two, in addition to Demon Slayer is hot all over the world. So no need to mention, right? Jujutsu and Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man, and these titles, they are hot all over the world. And Tokyo Avengers, they are in Japan, in China, in US, in Europe, they are all hot. One thing I want to mention that later you will see that in US, one title which is very specific to US market is the Rising of the Shield Hero. Yes, it is. So Genshin Impact is super hot in US. So later I will show you the fan art district, the fan art district of let me see, the fan art district of this convention. So just like comic markets or comic cups, there are a lot of people selling their own arts, their own fan arts, or some of them their original arts in the convention center. And for those, I would say if not 50% of them are of Mihail games, at least 30% of them they are something like Genshin Impact. So it's super hot. JoJo? Oh, I don't think JoJo is that hot, but still there are some JoJo. So there is a gem here. I perceive them to be somehow correct on my own. What happens? Okay. There is a serious lagging on your cell phones. Is that what's happening nowadays? Is that what's happening nowadays? I don't know. Some of you report that there's no problem. Some of you report there are problem. Let me try to restream. Let me try to restream. It happens, but some of them they are out of my control. So yep. Let's try. Now it should be good. I've cut my streaming and I've re-streamed for a little bit. I don't know, I did my best. So I tried a few different VPNs and they are not working that properly. Let me try to... I have restreamed everything and I hope it works. So that happens, but sorry for that. Some of them they are out of control. Yeah, I don't know. That's sometimes weird. So sometimes it's totally out of my control when it happens for streaming, and you know, some of them can be very tricky and some of them can be really... Yep. So let me try. So it's still there? Okay. So when I took that photo, so it's more like 40 minutes before even the early admission starts. But you see there are still people there, and I took some photos on that street. That street is not actually the entrance of the... So that street is not the actual entrance. That's a street for registration and health check. So what we need to do is, in that street, I would say it's something more like check our vaccine proof. So we have to be vaccinated, or we have to show a proof of no worries. I will upload my recording, so no need to worry if you can't see my if you can't watch my live streaming. It's all okay. So there's a health check area. We have to have our vaccine proof, and we have to have our either a vaccine proof or we have negative COVID tests in the past 24 hours to enter the convention center. So I'll show you that. So you see, exhibitor, guest, professional, press, staff, crew, they enter here. The main entrance of we visitors is on the other row. It's on the other side of the convention center. But for us, what we need to do first is to do health check and registration. So let me show you. There's so back down, you see the blue and white building, right? Down all the way down here. That's the health check and registration center. So we first come here to check our vaccine proof and get a wristband. So we need a wristband to enter. So you see, for all of the people in this hall, we have a yellow-green wristband on our hands. So that's not anything I know, but it's just some random guy in front of me and professor. So you see them, you see the yellow-green wristband on their hand. So that's proof of we've already shown our vaccine proof to the staff. So with this, we go down to the end, go to the for professor and I, we've already got a badge, so we have no need to go down all the way down. For those who have not, yeah, I've seen the message from the Ramproof Ramproof-san, so no need to worry. Thank you, Cookie-san. Yeah, I've seen that. No worries. I will always upload my recordings, so it's good. Yep. So that's still early. So no. That's not a convention center. It's just it's not even a convention center. It's just an outside hall for people to pick up their badge, to pick up their ticket to enter the convention center. So all the way down. For those who have already asked to mail the badge to their home, no need to get down to them. And there is no badge for purchase on site. So I think the badge limit for this event is 150,000. But it sold out 2 weeks before the event. So it's only for those who have not mailed their badge and decided to pick up on site. For those who have not purchased a badge, they have no chance to purchase. It sold out 2 weeks ago. So that's actually the actual lineup to the main entrance. You see, back all the way back to the road. It's a registration health check. Here it's the lineup. It's actually in the middle of lineup, and then when it goes to the corner, you need to turn left, and there's still another lineup. So it's a long line before the convention center actually opened. It's a long line, like I think in like 9:30 there were almost like 1,000 people lining up, maybe more than 1,000, 2,000. I mean, it's still not comparable to Comic Cup, right? Professor told me in Comic Cup in Shanghai, like 1 hour before the opening of the convention center, there have been already something like 5,000 or even 10,000 people at the door. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's very different. It's very different from the style. So the last anime convention I went to, the Anime Expo. The Anime Expo in Los Angeles, it's more similar to the major anime conventions in China. But for those, it's not that similar. So it depends sometimes. Yep. Yep. So is the lagging better now? I hope the lagging is not that it's not that severe now. It's not something I can control, but I will try my best. Yep. So and on the other side, that's called San Jose Civics. It's a music hall, I think. That's a music hall of San Jose. So that's so after picking up our bunch, professor took me first to the hotel. Our hotel is on the other side of our hotel is not Marriott, not Hilton back then. It's on the other side of the road. Then after we went back to the convention center, I took a photo like what's going on around this area. So here is the convention center. Then we see all the lineups down here. Make a turn and all the way down there, and back here is a health registration and a health check and registration part. So you see, the lining up is all the way down here, back then. And here is the convention center. And when I get closer, you see, so we have a closer look at the convention center. Yes, so at anime conventions, mostly a few things to do. So first, go to purchase fan arts, just like what you do to comic market in Tokyo or Comic Cup in Shanghai, right? Purchase all these fan arts, all these items. So that's first, and then attend these sessions. So this year on Crunchyroll, there are a few sessions from big names. So there were 2 sessions from the president of the anime production company Bones. So I know that, I believe that at least some of you here is fans of one of the Bones titles, right? So these days Bones have, I think the 2 major. So these days Bones have 2 major. One is the Stray Dog. The Bone Stray Dog. Another is Hero Academy, and it's US. It's in San Jose of California. It's US. Yes, it's San Jose of California. Just 1 hour away from San Francisco. So so for sure you all know San Francisco, right? You know there's a Silicon Valley in San Francisco, which is most of the high-tech companies of the world are in the Silicon Valley of California. So actually, Silicon Valley is the area between San Francisco and San Jose. So Bay Area or Silicon Valley is actually a peninsula. So this peninsula is actually the north end of the peninsula. So Silicon Valley is the city of San Francisco. So you for sure know San Francisco. And all the way down, all the way to the south, there are a few cities named, in total they are named Silicon Valley, like Sunnyvale, like Cupertino. Cupertino is for Facebook, now named Meta. Palo Alto is for Google. Sunnyvale is for whom? I can't recall. So, and then all the way down to San Jose. San Jose is the south end of Silicon Valley. Like 70% of the most famous high-tech company of the world, they are here. They are between San Francisco and San Jose. So that's in San Jose. Crunchyroll, I think it's a San Jose-based company, so that's why every year the Crunchyroll Expo is in San Jose Convention Center. Not Los Angeles. Last month, when I went to Anime Expo, it was in Los Angeles. But this month, it's in North California. It's in San Jose, 1 hour south to San Francisco. It's not Los Angeles. If I want to go to Los Angeles, I need to take a flight of more than 1 hour. California is a very big state, so it's a 1 hour flight from San Jose to Los Angeles. Not even close. So now back then, you see there is a convention center. You see the screen of Crunchyroll, the Crunchyroll idol, and you see back then there is logo of Crunchyroll Expo. Yep. Yeah, so my last anime convention streaming, it's about Anime Expo 2022. It was in Los Angeles, very far away. So that's getting closer. When it gets closer, we can see here is the main entrance of the convention center. We see a screen with the Crunchyroll idol. There's the exit, there's the entrance, and all the way down here there's a DJ on the second floor with some outdoor music. I will show you when it gets closer. So when it gets closer, that's the entrance. When I get to that building, it's actually, I took this photo later, afternoon, like 2 p.m. that day. So there's not a lining up set slate. So I can just enter without any lining up, but that's like 1 or 2 p.m. On Friday. So I can just enter. That's a welcome. And when it goes to that, it's a security screening. And now we have a closer look at the convention center. So back then, the building is a convention center with all these halls with sessions. It was not hot. It's something like 30 degrees Celsius. Yes, it's 30 degrees Celsius. Even in the afternoon, it's something around 30. In the morning, it's something around 24, 25. The Bay Area is very cool. It's not hot at all, even in summertime. So, no, not hot. Not hot at all. It's not hot at all. It's very cool. So the Bay Area, maybe it's the San Francisco Bay Area, maybe it's a place with best weather of the world. It's never hot. Even in summertime, it will rarely exceed 33 degrees Celsius. Yep. In winter, it was not cold. In summertime, during summertime, it's not hot at all. They have very good weather in San Francisco Bay Area. Yep, that's true. That's very true that the Bay Area has very good weather there. So the whole west coast of America is not without any extreme weathers. So to the north and Vancouver, to the south and San Diego, they are very mild all year round. So there is a famous saying, you know that, right? So a New Yorker and a Los Angeleser both say battle for whether Los Angeles or New York is a better place to live. Then New York City, the New Yorker said, okay, we have opera here. The Los Angeles guy said, it's 72 in Los Angeles, so 72 is in Fahrenheit. So in US, we don't use Celsius temperature. It's more like we use Fahrenheit temperature. So 72 is more like 23 to 26 degree Celsius. So you can understand it's like it's 25 here. The New Yorker says we have the best Italian restaurant of the world. The Los Angeles guy says it's 25 here in Los Angeles. So when New York City is 35 degrees Celsius, it's 25 in Los Angeles. When New York City is like minus 10 degrees Celsius in the winter, it's 25 in Los Angeles. So California has the best weather of the world. So for sure, you don't need to worry for that. It's not hot at all. Yep. It's all year round. Los Angeles is like 25, 26. Bay Area is a little cooler than Los Angeles, but it's still not hot all over the year. Yep. California is... You mean the food? It depends. If you are big fans of... If you are big fans of Chinese food, then likely the best Chinese food of the world is in Vancouver and New York City. So Los Angeles has the best Korean food and Japanese food of the world. But unlike Chinese food, it has very good Chinese food, but not the best. the best Chinese food is for sure in New York City and Vancouver. I mean, outside of China. So, yep. So that's a screening part. That's a security screening area, and then a few more security screening photos all the way down here. All the way down here. So there are a few security screening services. Yep. So for us, we don't have anything special in our hands. We just put our bags back in the hotel room and just took our money and our cell phones with us. So there's no need for us to worry with the security screening. So mostly the security screening is a problem for cosplayers. So for cosplayers, their equipment will be manually checked by the staff members. So for non-cosplayers, security check is not a problem. I don't know if in China cosplayers need to be manually checked when they enter the convention center. Did that happen? I'm not quite sure. But in US, if you are going to enter the security center, enter the convention center, all these kind of convention center, you need to go through security screening first. And for cosplayers, it's a major change, especially for cosplayers with large scale events. Then that's the entrance. That's the overall entrance of San Jose Convention Center, and anime, hype, cosplay, level up, manga, Isashi, power up. That's the major entrance. You see people of all kinds of ethnics, they are here. People with African origin, with Latin, Hispanic origin, people with Asian origin, or people with white origin, all different aspects of people. So anime is no longer Asian specific field in US anymore. That's for people of. I see. So yep, that happens for US conventions too. So we need to, if you are a cosplayer, you need to hand all of your equipment to the staff members, and they will check, and they will not allow any kind of large-scale metal equipment to enter. So that happens. Yep. So, so you see people from all different origins: Asian, African, Hispanic, and white. They are here. So it's a very diverse interest these days. It's a very diverse topic, not like 20 years ago. So anime was more like specific to Asian community, and for non-Asian community, it's more like a geek style. Only a small group of people are interested. Now, people from all origins, they are anime fans. Yep. And I took this photo for the exit. So back then, it's still early. It's like 2 p.m. that day. So it closed at 10 p.m. So that's very different from anime conventions in China, right? So Fred told me that Comic Cup is usually closed at 5 or 5:30. So there's no late night events in China, right? For all these conventions, for all these anime conventions. So in US, actually, the main convention centers, the anime events, like premieres, like sessions, like lectures, they will continue until 10 p.m., usually 10 p.m. And some days there will be late night events, like with a DJ with anime music, any songs, an electronic version of any songs. So that can extend to sometimes 2 a.m. So when it was in Anime Expo, I think the 2 late night events at Anime Expo, they continued to 2 a.m. But in Crunchyroll Expo, we don't have any of these late night events, so it closed at 10 p.m. Yep. So there was little amount of people exiting the convention center back that. And there is a cosplay area. That's not a cosplay gathering time, so not a lot of cosplayers were there. So there, I think every 2 hours there will be a topic cosplay gathering. For example, the first day it's 12 p.m. It's the MiHoYo Games cosplayer gathering. Then later than that, it will be what's that? I think there is a 2 p.m. that was a I think a Demon Slayer at 2 p.m. of Friday. It's a Demon Slayer cosplay gathering. It's a cosplay meetup area for photographers to take photos for cosplayers. So there are a few. So that's not a gathering time. So there are just very few cosplayers in this area. When that was gathering time, there will be a huge amount of people, but that's impossible for me to take any of these photos. So, yep. So that's just random time. So not any of the major gathering time. Yep. Yep. So that's, and there was a DJ on the second floor playing music. Yep. So you see there's a DJ. There's a DJ on the second floor playing outdoor anime songs, which is for these cosplayers, and there are sometimes even K-pop dancing parties. Another side of the photos of the entrance. Then we enter the hall. So that's the entrance hall of the Crunchyroll Expo. Yep, actually a lot of Demon Slayers. So let me tell you, for cosplayers, a lot of Demon Slayers, a lot of MiHoYo games, a lot of Tokyo Avengers. I will say these 3 are the most frequently seen titles. Actually, yeah, 2 floors and a different horse. It's very different from the style of Comic Cup. I know that Comic Cup it's in the convention center of Shanghai, right? It's 1 or 2 major halls, and everything happens in these 2 halls. The Crunchyroll Expo and Anime Expo, the convention center of US is in a very different style. So, these convention centers of China, I think they are mostly designed for automobile exhibitions, right? They're designed for exhibiting cars. So they have some very, very huge one-piece horse, maybe a few, and you put all of your areas in the same, all of your districts in the same hall with a very huge hall. It's very different from the thing happening in US. So in US, it's more like we have different halls in the same convention center, and we divide these districts to different halls. There will be one of them with a huge hall, but others are more like smaller halls. Nope. I just take a purse to the. I don't like any kind of tote bags. I just take a small purse with my cell phone and my credit cards. Not credit cards. I do not have ID, so not credit cards. With my debit cards. My debit cards, my cash, my cell phones, and my key in a small purse. That's all. Yep. And that's you see here, that's a VTuber of Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has its own VTuber. That's a vision of the VTuber here. And we see there's general shopping district, Holo meets Holo Life. the Bongo Stray Dog exhibition. So because the president of Bones comes to this event, so there are a lot of these titles from Bones with their own specific exhibitions. And SAO, Sword Art Online, all the way up. Yep. I do not take a lot of items to these convention centers, just the minimum. So you see, down on the first floor, there are a few exhibitions. On the second floor, there are halls. So I will show you them. So I just eliminate all of the faces for those who are not wearing a mask. So I'm not going to delete those faces who are wearing a mask just for privacy. For those who have already worn a mask, it's okay for them, but for those who are not wearing a mask, I just put a white box on their face. So there's a stair all the way up, and let's go to this. Let's do this first floor. Let's go to the second floor and have a look. Sword Art Online. I mean, Sword Art Online is not as hot as in China. I know SAO is super hot in China, right? It was super hot in China, but in US it's not as popular. I would say the peak of SAO is like 10 years ago, like in 2012 or 2013. At that time, the US manga market, the US anime market is not as prosperous as nowadays. So, Sword Art Online never achieved the same level of influence in US compared to in Japan or in China. Okay, now we are in the second floor. Let me show you some of the photos from the second floor. So that's a manga series of, back down there is a manga library. And people with all different kinds of t-shirts, some of them with anime t-shirts, some of them with just everyday t-shirts with them. So there are a lot of people wearing manga t-shirts, or wearing JK or Lolita. Some of them are cosplaying, so that happens. Yep. So that's the main hall in the second floor. Just very likely is the hallway, as last time I shown you with Anime Expo in LA. A few of these billboards, the Ancient Magus Bride. I think that title was not that hot in China, right? But that title is for sure hot in US. So Crunchyroll, that's one of the Crunchyroll's top titles. Chainsaw Man, so for sure, this one is just hot everywhere, all over the world. Everyone loves it. And we see people with all different kinds of clothes. That's the entrance of the main hall. Okay. So that's a Crunchyroll, its own exhibition. Let me take some water, sorry. Okay. So this is the Crunchyroll its own stage. So they do some streaming from this stage to its online event. So this event is both on-site and online. So it's streaming some of its stage to the online platform. Back there, so the whole area is owned by Crunchyroll itself. Like these, all of these are screens there when there was no events. A close shot of the Crunchyroll idol. Then some of the services owned by, actually that's not owned by Crunchyroll. It's sponsored. This organization is sponsored by Crunchyroll. It's not owned by Crunchyroll. Yep, that's it. You are correct. So that's an organization which is dedicating to help people with mental disability with cosplaying. So that happens. Actually, cosplaying is a way of healing mental disabilities. That's mostly an organization, non-profit charity organization focusing on that, using anime, manga, and cosplay as a medium to challenge the stigma surrounding mental health. So actually in US, that's not the only organization. There are a few organizations encouraging people with disabilities to cosplay. So actually, when I was there I didn't take the photo because it's not encouraged to take photos of people with disabilities. But when it gets back to Crunchyroll days, I've seen a few people, more than once. There were people with cosplay on a wheelchair, but still cosplaying. One of them is cosplaying Ganyu, I think. So there are people with disabilities using cosplay, still cosplaying with their friends, taking them to the convention center, attending all these events, and playing cosplay. So you will see a lot of people with disability, people with eyesight disabilities. They are still there. For those who need a dog, I see two persons with service dogs, 2 persons with a wheelchair on the first day of that game. So there are a lot of people with disabilities but still using cosplay as one of their way of showing their life. Yes, that happens. So that's the game area of Crunchyroll Expo. The music selling albums of the guest singers of Crunchyroll Expo. Then cars. Sorry. So every day there are different cars here. So they show every day there are different cars here. So there are always 3 or 4 cars on display here. Every day you see that in US. Those anime decorated cars are popular in US. Yep. Every day there are 3-4 different cars here. And there are other cars here. So Love Life is for sure. And all these Bush Roads, titles, Band Dreams. Yep, they are all here. So yes, there are cars all the way here. So every day there will be 4 or 5 cars, and every day there's rotation. The next day you will have different cars. All of these anime decorated car fans in California, they drive their car to San Jose and to be displayed on the spot on site. So that happens. It's not that popular in US. I'm not sure. California, maybe in California it's popular. There's a stage next to this main hall. There's a stage with all these guest bands, guest singers to play. That's called New Crunchy Cities Music Festival. So later I will take you some photo with this music stage. Central Shopping District, Super Arcade, Music Feast, Hima and Yuzu stage. So they have different stages. These stages are for premieres or for lectures or for other sessions. The Crunchyroll stage is a major stage. For example, these lectures from the 2 lectures from the president of Bones and a lecture from the producer of Odd Taxi, the director of Odd Taxi. They are all here. Confessions and restrooms. That's a hiring event of Crunchyroll. I mean, Crunchyroll it's expanding like crazy, so it hires a lot of people. It pays okay. I will not say it pays well. Just like Bilibili is the salary level of Bilibili in China, right? It's not comparable to these high-tech companies, but still not bad. So there's a photo. So it's before any of these music festivals happens. It's during the interval of these music fests. So not a lot of people were there. So it's just mostly empty. Still, there are people waiting for the next event, but not a lot of people were there. So in the middle there is a music stage, and during nighttime, after 7 p.m. So they close most of these daytime events at 7 p.m. And after that, there will be the music fest. So during the music fest time, it will be full. That's a food court. So it's not everyone who are going outside of the convention center to find food and drinks. I do that. I never eat inside of the convention center. So does the professor. But there are still people having food inside of the convention center. It depends. I would say that the US conventions are also very business oriented. So in China, it's more like separated, right? So these fan art based events like Comic-Con, it's almost all fan arts. It's almost all fan dominated. Like in Comic Cup, like just 1/3 of the hall is about business. The other 2/3, they are all about fan arts. So these are like fan dominated events. But in other events like China Joy or some like in what's called CCX, the one in Shanghai is called CCX or what? I can't because I was not here, only professor was there, and the professor told me, and I'm not sure it's called CCX or what's that. These kind of events, they are fully business dominated, right? So in China, they are very different. So you have two different types of anime expos. So the first is fully fan dominated, fan oriented, fan art oriented. The second is fully business oriented. In US, it's less likely to have these two different types. So China Joy style of events and the Comic Cup style of events. These two are more like combined. These two are more like combined together in US. So that's one reason why in US you will see that it seems to be less business style. It's actually because these two types of events, they are more like combined in the US market. Yep. So that's a food court. There are some interesting foods here, but I never take foods inside of the convention centers. So a huge billboard of the Jujutsu. So as I said, Jujutsu is for sure hot. So some of these titles, they are hot everywhere, right? In China, in Japan, in US, in Europe, even in Africa or Middle East, they are hot. Like Demon Slayer is hot everywhere. Jujutsu is hot everywhere. Tokyo Avenger is hot everywhere. Chainsaw Man is hot everywhere. There's no need to mention, okay, it's hot in US. No, it's hot all over the world. Yep. It happens. There are some. Yeah, it depends on what kind of event it is. Yep. cars, billboards, Aniplex. So Aniplex is LOL. Aniplex is more powerful in US than in China because it's in the channel in US is more concentrated. So Aniplex is more powerful in US actually. It controls many of the. Yep. So the fan art events in China is very hot. They are very good. But these business events in China, they are not as good. Yep, that's what the professor told me. Yep. So Spy and Family. Spy and Family is LOL. So do you really like? So how many of you are actually big fans of Spy and Family? Yeah. So Spy and Family is not bad, right? But how many of you are actually a big fans of Spy and Family other than Waku Waku? I mean, it's good, but I mean, it's good, but not excellent, right? But Waku Waku is great. I love Anya too, so Anya is super good. Anya and her friends. Those two girls, they were both good. For the couple, I mean, Spy and Family is good, but not excellent. Yeah. Spy and Family is hot in US. Spy and Family is hot in US also. So US market is more, actually it's not less business than in China, it's more business in China. Like advertisements, like all these channels, they actually play a larger role in the US market. So it's like, let me say that anime, video games, in China, there are some of their advertisements, but not that many. In US, a lot of them. So actually, Spy and Family is hot in US because of the promotion, the channels, the advertisements. They were very powerful there. Sword Art Online, so for sure, Aniplex is trying to push Sword Art Online in US, but that's very unlikely that SAO can achieve its peak in China and in Japan because it's just not the time of SAO, right? The peak time of SAO was 10 years ago, so it's too late. Still, they have quite a few different of these exhibitions for different chapters of Sword Art Online from the original Aincrad to later Phantom Bullets and all these. Anya is here. Anya is almost blocked, but Anya is here. Waku Waku. So Licorice in Recoil. It's hot here, so I think for the summer 2022 anime titles, Licorice and Recoil is top 1, right? So let me recall what's happened on let me recall the ranking of my anime list. So my anime list is something which is equivalent of Bangumi.tv in China. So it's more like a library, like IMDb style of thing for animes. So for July 2022, what's going on? For July 2022 titles, the hottest is Licorice and Recoil. Then the second hottest is Overlord. So I think these two are the top twos. So any of you is big fans of Overlord? So Overlord is hot. So yes, that's something no need to mention. Just like Jujutsu and Demon Slayer and Tokyo Avenger. Overlord is hot all over the world, so no need to mention. But Licorice and Recoil, that's the top one this year. So they still have some of their billboards, like the Rico tea house. They even have a menu for that. No, they are not actually for sale on site. That's just a billboard. Nothing more. No food. No food, no coffee, no tea. It's just a billboard. Yep. So now we move to the fan art area of it's Crunchyroll Expo. It's more like the Comic Cup style part of Comic Cup. So people sell their fan arts on site. So you can see who's hot, who's not that hot. So all is MiHoYo. Let me show you these photos and you'll find MiHoYo games are actually super hot here. I will show you one by one and you can see how hot MiHoYo games they are. But still there are some others, like all kinds of original washi tapes. So I purchased a lot of washi tapes. I'm a big fan of washi tapes and I purchased like 7 or 10 washi tapes at the time. I love washi tapes. So all the way back here, different titles. You see the mask of Waku Waku? Here. Yep. There are different ones. And there are other, like, these are more traditional types: Full Metal, JoJo, Naruto, Pokemon, One Piece, Hero Academy, Sailor Moon, Studio G. So they are more like, but still Hololive, all these. So these are more traditional titles. Yeah, Hoyo again, Hoyo everywhere. Some others here. These are more traditional, like ReZero, Demon Slayer, Waku Waku, Sword Art Online. Yes, these ones are more like traditional topics, and Fate Grand Orders is Princess Link. Another of them. So this is original. This is original presents, not like a fan art, more like original arts. Yep. Some of them they are more traditional titles. Some of them they are full of Hoyo games. So these are a lot of Hoyo games with some of the spy families, and so these are more like VTubers, but still some of the traditional titles. Deep Slayers, Hero Academy, and The Wolf. So it's more like both VTubers and the traditional titles. Wow. So still back to Hoyo games. A lot of these Hoyo titles, but still think like JoJo. Yeah, some of the non-Hoyo titles. Yep. But the price is higher, you see. The price of all these keychains in US, they are like $12 in each. I think that's way higher than these fan art products in China, right? I think for those in Comic Cup, they were no larger than $25, 25 CNY each. In US, it's like $12 each, almost like 80 CNY bucks. But that happens in US. The price is always higher in US. So many of them in many of these different fan arts. and many of these Hot Mihayo games. A photo of the food and jujitsu. A photo of the food, hot dogs. Taco. Yep. So the Niji Senji English, they have a collaboration with Crunchyroll. So I don't see. I see a lot of Niji Senji in their fan arts in the art district. Later, let's see if I took any photo of them. There are a lot. There are a lot of them. Yep, there are a lot of them. There are still like people drawing Mihoyo Games paintings. It's an artist who is invited by the Crunchyroll Expo drawing on the ground. Let me see if I have any photo after it's done there, but yep, there are a lot. Yeah, you see Mihoyo Games, they are everywhere here and there. They are everywhere, just literally everywhere. Yep. RWBY. So there are RWBY items. I think these are official items from this year. This year, who's in charge of RWBY? I can't recall. Who's in charge of this season of RWBY? Shaft? Yeah, this season it's Shaft. So I think it's a Shaft exhibition. It's a booth of Shaft. So Chainsaw Man, you can take photos with this, with Chainsaw Man all over here. All over here. Yep. All over here. So we still have others. Let's see. That's something which is in the hallway outside of the shopping district. In the hallway, there are people showing them, and there are figures for you to take photo with. Death Stranding. Remember that Crunchyroll is owned by Sony. It's a branch of Sony, so there are all Sony PlayStation titles. They are all Sony titles here. Again, Demon Slayer and Mushoku Tensei. Demon Slayer is I think it's still hot, but not that hot as last year. But that makes sense, right? Demon Slayer is over, so it's not as hot as before, but still very hot here. some of the business booths. Another Spy and Family fan arts. Another of the Spy and Family fan arts. This one is, but $30. It's a lot of money. $30, yeah. Licorice. Again, Licorice. Chisato. Takina. And that's what I took when I left the main exhibition hall early on the first day. So that's more like a more complete picture of all of them. So let's revisit some of them. So Spy and Family, Demon Slayer, Death Stranding, the hallway paintings, Chainsaw Man, RWBY, Horizon Zero, the Nisenji Yen, Jujutsu again, some of the Hoyo games, all these different titles, from classical titles to Hoyo games. Still, traditional titles and Hoyo games, VTubers and the classical titles and Demon Slayers. See, original arts. So all these different game art, Zelda and others, all different titles. Classical titles, I think this is all classical titles, I think. All these combined titles here. Washi tapes, different titles. So these are a quick look of the fan art shopping district of Crunchyroll Expo, more like the comic cup or comic market style of things. But as I said, in US there's very few, I would say, the fan art dominated events. It's more like combined with business events. So that's more like what's happening here. And that's the end of the first day. So when I left, I was back for the late night events, but at the daytime I finished all of the sessions I want to attend, and that's it. When I left, it's like something around 7 p.m. That's a photo I took there. So more like a complete look at the convention center's entrance. So you see, all kinds of different people and all kinds of different titles. We still see like African people, Asian people, Hispanic people, and white people. It's, again, as I said, anime is now a very popular field in US. People from all these different ethnic origins, they were here. That's what I took for the exit. People, they were leaving from the convention center during 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Some of them will come back for the late night events. Some of them just go back home or go back to the hotels. Okay, that's something what I took the second day. So the second day I came to the convention centers at 8:30. So the event starts at 10. So people were lining up outside of this hall. So it opens at something like 9. The hall opens at 9, but people are going to have to wait outside of the halls, as all of these events, they were not opened. So I took a photo like something around 9:30 of the second day, and there are people lining up outside of the halls for the events. More. I still have a few other. You see, it's 87 by 101, so I have 100 photos to share with you. So there are still almost 15. That's the second day. So before, it's 30 minutes before the door opens. There are already a lot of people waiting outside. There are even senior citizens waiting outside. Not all young people. You see that gentleman? A senior citizen. And there are people like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, all these ages, they are here attending the events. Okay, and that's something I took not inside of it's not part of the event. I took it from the city of San Jose. So when I was going out for cash, so you know that in all these kind of convention center, the network connection is not good. So using like Venmo you can understand as the equivalent of Alipay or WeChat in US. So it's an online payment service. Because the internet connection inside these convention centers are not very good, so cash is a better way of payment. So, question. Hey everyone here. So, is the network connection still very bad in this convention center during these major anime convention events like Comic Cup? So the professor told me that you can almost never open your even a website. You cannot even connect to WeChat or Alipay to pay to the fan art creators inside the convention center. Is that true? He told me that the signal inside the convention center during major events were very bad. At least that's true for US. So you are very difficult to connect to the network in the convention centers. So I found, okay, it's better to use cash to pay. So in the road to the bank with professor, I took these photos. These are not a part of the convention. It's just on the road. Something on the road. Pandas, fox, different pandas. Very cute, right? I loved it very much. I loved it very much. That's why I took these photos. They are just super cute. Yep. So mostly panda and fox. And you see a panda trick, right? I would say in US we usually use credit cards, but you will know that there is a 2% to 3% transaction fee with credit cards. So if, for example, if I use credit cards to pay $100 to a fan art creator, like I want to buy an art book of hers, it's $100. I pay $100 with credit card to her. She only gets 97. The $3 goes to the credit card company. So for businesses, it's okay. So they will consider it's a part of their expenses. But for individuals, for like these fan art creators, for these all these fans who sell their art books, who sell their keychains, their pins, all these fan arts, it's a big problem. So they tend to use cash. You see that? We use it, but more likely, as I said, the network connection inside the convention center is very bad. That's what happened. The professor told me that was what happened during Comic Cup in Shanghai also. In the convention center, you can rarely connect to the network. Yep. It's a transaction fee. You need to pay a 2 to 3% fee to the credit card company. So that's why mostly in the convention centers, in these comic conventions, if I want to buy some fan arts, I tend to use cash. That saves money for both of us. So that's on the road of taking cash from the bank. And that's more like a complete photo of these pandas and foxes. A very cute drawing, right? I love them very much. Yep. That happens. So, still, some of the photos taken in the hallway on the second day. Still, second day it's Saturday, so there are even more people. So you see the central shopping district, even more people on the second day. It took it like 1 p.m., 12 p.m., even more people than Friday. Still better than Comic Cup, right? The professor shared some of his Comic Cup photos with me, and Comic Cup is like, I know there's a saying in there's an interesting saying in Mandarin, which is directly translated to US. It's called people mountain, people sea, right? That's what happened. That's what I perceived from his photos from Comic Cup in Shanghai. But the Saturday in Crunchyroll Expo is crowded, but not as crowded as anything like Comic Market or Comic Cup. So still the art district for all these kind of fan arts. That's a billboard for it. And that's the entrance of the convention center. Welcome to Crunchyroll Expo 2022. Some of the digital paintings. Oh, the new Bleach. So the new Bleach is coming this October, right? Any of you is going to watch it? The Thousand Year Blood War. The manga was bad. I mean, the manga of the Thousand Year Blood War part, the Thousand Year Blood War part of the manga was bad. So I think the author said in the anime he will try to expand the story for a little bit to give a complete story about the last chapter of Bleach. Yeah, but the original manga version of the Thousand Year Blood War was just bad. But I think that it will get better for the anime, and the anime is coming this October. Maybe we can watch together. I'm not sure, but maybe we can do it. So let's do a fan art. So that's the guy who is in charge of the Mihayo painting here, right? On the floor. That's a Mihayo painting. And that's some of the night events for all these bands, anime sound bands and anime sound singers. So this year I think the singers, they are mostly singers for the Raising of the Shield Hero. That title was not hot in China, I think, but that title, the Rising of Shield Hero, is super hot in US. So that's afternoon. In Saturday, you see there are way more people on Saturday than on Friday. So it's a weekend day, and that's a cosplay gathering time. So there are a lot of people gathering here for cosplay photographing. So you see there are tons of people all the way here. Yep, it's sunny, but not hot at all. No, I know nothing about dancing, so I know nothing. But there are people, it's a cosplay dancing event. So people are inside for dancing and people are outside watching them. Yep. And some of the photos on the Spy and Family billboard site on Saturday. Oh, that's San Jose. That's in California. San Jose, California. So that's the location of the Crunchyroll Expo for every year. And that's a garden for the San Jose Convention Center. Yeah, it's California. San Jose, California. So that's some of the sessions. So that's a session for the director of Odd Taxi. Any of you a fans of Odd Taxi? Odd Taxi is one of the favorite titles of mine for 2021. So I mean, it's a session which is allowing for photographing. So I took a photo of these sections. There are, for example, there are some other lectures which are not allowed for photographing, like the session of the president of Bones. Both sessions. He has three sessions. So he has 3 sessions. One for Bungie Straw Dogs, one for the history of Bones, one for the Hero Academy, but none of them, all of these 3 lectures, they were not allowed for photographing. And this one with the director of the Odd Taxi is allowed for photographing. So I took a photo of them. the guy inside in the middle, he is the director of the Odd Taxi. None of you is fans of Odd Taxi? Wow. Odd Taxi is a great piece. It's masterpiece. I love it very much. You should have a check. I think there is Odd Taxi on Bilibili, right? So you should have a check. Odd Taxi is a very good title. So maybe you can have a check. It's good. It's just great. Let's go for the next title. Okay, it's all of the photos I've taken for Crunchyroll 2022. Any one of you want to revisit some of them? So these are all the 100 photos I want to share with you. Any of you want to revisit some of them? Yeah, I still have like 200 more not displayed here during the streaming. So as what I did for Anime Expo last month, I will select like 50-60 from them and compile them to a 2-minute video to share you with all these parts which I have not displayed during my streaming. So any of these photos you want to revisit for a little bit, or any of the stories you want to hear about, I think today I do not have a lot of time to share what I learned from the lecture of the president of Bones and what I learned from the director of Odd Taxi. Maybe I need to talk to them a little bit next week. So, but still, for the event itself, what do you want to know a little bit? Or what kind of things you want me to share during the video? Yep, any of you have the interest? So these are just a brief, these are just a brief visit, quick visit of all these Crunchyroll Expo events. So I still have a few events to attend on, I think in late September. So I will not visit anywhere in early September. So the next 1 month and a half, most of my streaming will be focused on practice of gaming. Or, well, next week I think I will share a little bit about what I learned from the lecture from the president of Bones. So he shared quite a few of his plan. Then Mappa, the president of Mappa, I don't think it's president of Mappa, it's a director of Chainsaw Man, the second season. So he also was here, and the director of Odd Taxi. So I will share a little bit of what I learned from them. So that's for next week. So today I do not have enough time to share what I learned from all these lectures from the big names. So in September, late September, I have somewhere to go. Let's keep it secret. I think it's something around September 20th. Then in October, I have not decided where to go for October. Likely Atlanta, but I haven't decided if I will go to Atlanta in late October. After that, in mid-November, there will be Anime NYC. There will be Anime NYC, and there are a lot of big names coming to Anime NYC in mid-November, so I will still have a lot of things to share. So in Anime NYC, it has been announced that the director of the new Gundam movies, Hathaway's Flash, the director of Hathaway's Flash, he will be coming to Anime NYC, so I will have a lot to... give me some bless. I need to be lucky enough to... So you know that it will be kept, even if Anime NYC, the Javits Center is way bigger than the San Jose Convention Center. I mean, these halls, they will be kept for like 2,000-3,000 people inside. So I need to lucky enough to get in. So give me some bless. Give me some luck. I need the luck to get in. So if I'm lucky enough to get in, I will have a lot to share for November. And then in early December, there will be Anime Frontier in Dallas, Texas. So that's the plan. Let's keep it secret for this September. For October, I will go to Atlanta with the professor. November, for sure, New York City. December, for sure, Dallas, Texas. That's a plan. And likely next January, Los Angeles again. Another major event in Los Angeles. So, and like later will be Hawaii. I haven't decided if I want to go to Hawaii or not. It's just too far away. But yep. So let's see if I have a lot of share. Yeah, I will take some of the fan arts, take some photos for the fan arts I purchased from Crunchyroll Expo to you. So and this weekend I will share my audiobook as well as compiled photos for Crunchyroll Expo. Again, 2 minutes. Crunchyroll Expo in 2 minutes. That's what I'm going to share. Any questions? Any question regarding this Expo? Any questions? Yes, Hawaii. Next April, likely. There's a Kawaii-con in Hawaii. I haven't decided if I'm going to do. But for sure, I've decided to go New York City for this November and Dallas, Texas for this December. And likely October for Atlanta and next January for Los Angeles again. There are all major events in these places. Aloha, yes. The Aloha area of Pokemon. Yes, that's what I'm going. So, still any questions? Thank you. I do appreciate your coming. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your coming to my... Yeah, let's talk a little bit with anything else. So these new emojis in my streaming channel, are they good? So thank you, Cookie-san, for sharing. Thank you, Cookie-san, for sharing this new emoji with everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you, Cookie-san. I love them. So have everyone here in the channel tried the new emojis? What's a favorite of yours? So among all these 10 different emojis, what's your favorite? I'm better now. You see, I'm not coughing anymore. So I'm better now. So for everyone here, among the 10 emojis, what's a favorite of yours? Do you have a favorite? Nope. I love all of them. Thank you, Cookie-san. I love all of them. They are very cute for all of them. Yeah, so I'm trying to get them ready. So if you like them, then they are already here. Let's see if I have anything else to share. Yep. Some of them may be of interest of yours. So a lot of cosplays here. MiHoYo games are the most. So you can always expect the popularity of MiHoYo games is beyond your expectation. So again, as I said, I can't imagine how popular it is in US. So when I go to theaters with a professor, we just go to theaters, movie theaters for a random movie. And there are MiHoYo advertisements before the movie. We just go to a random restaurant for lunch. The next booth to us, there's someone playing MiHoYo games. So you see, it's so popular in US. So I cannot imagine that it's just so popular. Yep. And you see all these boys and girls here. Yeah, people from all ethnic origins. People from all different ethnic origins. African, Asian, white, Hispanic. They're here enjoying animes. So that's something which I would say, yes, it's hot now. Yep. Yep, a lot of them, they are here. Yep, Yoko-san, yes, I'm good now. You see, I'm not coughing anymore. So it has been 1 hour and a half. It's almost 1 hour and 3/4. It's almost like something like... Yeah, I've seen the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, you see I'm good now. I'm still not good enough for singing, but so I'm trying to get fully recovered soon, but I'm not coughing anymore. So yep. So I've seen the super chat. What are you saying, Cookie-san? I've seen the super chat. So I'm still not good enough to sing. We've got the paintings for singing videos already, but my condition is not good enough for singing. But at least I'm not coughing anymore. Yep, it's almost the end, but I'm going to upload the recordings. Okay, let's visit these movies, these photos for a little bit, and after that, let's call it a day. So that's what I arrived on the first day, 1 hour before the event started, 1 hour before the opening of the event, and then health check and registration, the hall for health check, and those who are going to, after the health check, we got the wristband, and they are going to pick up their badge, their tickets. That's a line for people willing to enter the convention hall on Friday, way before the opening of the event. From the other side of the road, I took this photo of the convention center. So still from the other side of the road, the photo of the convention center. A closer look of the Animal Expo, a look of the entrance, then a look of the security screening. For cosplayers, there's a nightmare of them. They need to show all of their equipment to the security to see, okay, there's nothing dangerous. For sure, happy. For sure, it's a happy travel. I love it very much. You see, people are lining up for security screening, and that's the main entrance of the convention center. Crunchyroll Expo CRX 2022. That's the exit, the cosplay meeting up area. A lot of cosplayers here, and those are people who are taking photos for cosplayers. The DJ on the second floor, giving some anime music, anime sounds as BGM for these cosplayers. The entrance of the convention center, the entrance hall, the VTuber of Crunchyroll Expo, different people on the first floor. A closer look of the first floor, second floor, and the billboard of the Sword Art Online. The directions, the manga library, people here getting ready for the events, the hallway with all these billboards, the Crunchyroll stage, they are taking this stage to stream. Other side of Crunchyroll's, these organizations helping people to use cosplay as a way to mediate their, or I would say mitigate their disabilities, mental disability or physical disabilities. As I said, a lot of people with disabilities, they are cosplaying in the convention center. The supermarket, the gaming part, the singing part, all these anime decorated cars, entertainment halls, a few other cars for 4-5 days, 4-5 cars a day with rotation, the music festival, the direction again, the hiring events, the recruitment of Crunchyroll itself. So that's in preparation, that's a music stage in preparation. Food court, food and drinks. Jujutsu, it's billboards with cars, Aniplex, and then Spy Family, Sword Art Online, all these billboards for Sword Art Online, Licorice, the Licorico tea house, the menu of Licorico, but still nothing here. It's just a menu, it's just a billboard. The fan art area, original arts, fan arts, with all these different titles, mostly MiHoYo games, but still others. I mean, I didn't take a photo for all of these fan arts. Otherwise, you'll find more than half of them they are MiHoYo. These classical titles, all these different titles, you see, and some of them they are original presents. Some of them they are VTubers. So I didn't take any of them from the Ian, but there are a lot actually. The Jujutsu again, the Nisenji Ian, and here other BY, Horizon, Chainsaw Man, the hallway paintings, the PlayStation games, Demon Slayer, Spy and Family, Licorice again, the entrance when I leave. It was dinner. It was dinner time. For sure, you see everyone is wearing mask. You see the photo that almost everyone is wearing a mask. Yep. Oh well, that's the end of the day. Almost the end of the day, so people are going to the exit. Day 2, when people are lining up for the opening of the halls. The pandas and foxes on the road. It's not a part of the anime exhibition, just some random paintings on the wall. Very cute pandas and foxes. I love them very much. Again, the hallway of the second day, the central shopping district on Saturday, arts district on Saturday. The direction of the entrance hall. Welcome to Crunchyroll Expo. The guy who is drawing the MiHoYo painting on the floor, and he's drawing others. Anime Expo, yep. The late night events from these Anyson singers and bands. Saturday afternoon outside, people are here taking photos for cosplays and K-pops, dancing here, for sure. 3 days actually, from Friday to Sunday. It's a 3-day event, and I have been there for all 3 days. Spent family again, and the event with the director of All Taxi. All of them, that's what I'm going to share today. I mean, I still have the details of the lectures from the president of Bones and the director of All Taxi. I do not have time to share today, but I will share them next week. Yes, I've been there for all 3 days. So I usually use English for most cases. I can speak Mandarin, but it's better. I'm more comfortable using English to share. So I can use either language. And if I'm collaborating with Chinese-speaking VAPs, I tend to use. But as I said, I upload my materials to Twitter and YouTube, and sometimes I'm planning to multi-stream on Bilibili and YouTube. That's why I'm using English for most cases. But for sure, no need to worry. Yes. So the most reason is I'm going to multi-stream both on both Bilibili and YouTube. The staff member is helping me to set up YouTube, so it will take a while before I will multi-stream on both platforms. Yep, but later on, I'm going to stream on both. And there are people who are going to subtitle my recording, so no need to worry. There will be subtitles, no need to worry. Yep. So that's it. Yep. So let's call it a day. Still any questions? Any questions for my travel to San Jose last weekend? And again, I said I still have at least 3 events to attend later this year, but yep. So let's call it a day. How about that? And I will wish you best of your dreams and have a nice sleep. Is it okay? Make sense? Okay. So let's call it a day and I will upload the recordings later tonight. See you next week. So next Thursday I will share the details. I will still share the details of the Crunchyroll Expo, mostly the lectures from the President of Bones, the director of Chainsaw Man from MAPPA, and the director of Taxi. So that's all I'm going to share today as well as next week. Any question? If no more question, or if you have question, you can always send me message, or you can leave me comments. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it, and see you next Monday. See you next Thursday, not Monday. Next Monday, not here. And I'll upload the photos as well as audiobook later this week. See you. Kiss kiss. Mwah mwah. Choo choo. Good night, everyone. Bye. Good night. You can send message if you have questions. Bye, everyone. Bye. Kiss kiss.